Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 441. It is Thursday here in Cincinnati. It is another beautiful summer day with a busy weekend on tap for me with some fun activities scheduled. And I'm getting ready for the new moon in Virgo this weekend on Saturday. So I will be creating the content for that right after I get done with this podcast, and we'll be sharing all of that. So today's title is Receptivity, and I've been sitting here wondering what I'm going to say about receptivity, but the word and the title are so clear, and I can feel how I've been playing with this idea for several months and trying to put words to it, to explain it, to define it for myself. So here I am about to try to define it for myself with you all at the same time. I would like to begin, though, with a thank you for all of the sweet support and comments about last week's episode, Hearing Our Fairies. I shared in that about my way of telling stories and how some people don't always appreciate all the details and the way I grew up with the fairies as such a normal part of my experience until I blocked them. And so many of you had matches. You shared the same experiences, perhaps not in the way that you disconnected from the fairy realm or the way that it's been reopening in your world, but the similarities in our childhoods and how we lived in the world of magic, and it was as real to us as this world. And so I just want to start by saying thank you for saying that, for sharing that, and normalizing how we were, and also how I believe we can still be as grown-ups. So thank you. Very, very sweet. And yeah, let's keep normalizing this way of living. Why don't we? Let's keep sharing our stories. I loved some of the specifics that were coming back to me about literally like the kinds of fairies that we would play with, and the similarities in fairies getting us in trouble, and how hard it was to be the human when the fairies were guiding us and we were not supported by the other humans in our lives. We're playing in that way. Okay, roundabout way. One of the things that I'm sitting with is this idea of when we close off a realm, and I've talked about fairies, but it could be anything for you. It could be dragons or wizards or angels or dead people, ghosts, as my friend Nicole said. It could be anything. It could be aliens. Whatever the realms are that we shut down whenever we do that, when we choose to shut down. And then we stop receiving that stream of consciousness or information or support in our lives. One of the things that I have been feeling into is it's a choice that we make as the human to stop that frequency from entering our human experience. Often it's auditory. For me, it's usually auditory. So it's like we put that filter up and we say, no more, I don't want that anymore, and don't engage with my human life. Let me just live my human life. And so we, the human, make the choice. But I also believe it's a co-creation. In some ways, I don't know, because I'm not speaking for everyone, I'm speaking for myself. When I decided no more fairies, I'm not going to listen to you anymore, what I'm realizing over the last week is it could also have been a match where the fairies are like, we're sick of taking the slack for you getting in trouble. We're telling you what is true. you're doing those things, and the humans are the ones that are telling you not to do that and that you're in trouble for doing that. It's not that what the fairies are saying, again, my version of realms being interacted with. The fairies weren't saying the wrong thing. It was the humans I was with that were saying, don't believe that, don't do that, don't trust that. And so is it me saying I'm done with this now, I'm not going to listen to you anymore? Or is it the fairies saying, we're tired of always being blamed for telling you the truth, and then the humans around you not understanding, so we're going to shut off the communication? It's like both can coexist or play with each other. And I think that's what I've been realizing over the last week. When I created the podcast, last Thursday, I was in the midst of all of the emotion of remembering and feeling so guilty and ashamed that I would choose to stop believing in magic in that way. And then as the week has progressed since then, I just keep coming back to, what if it wasn't only me? What if it wasn't a one-sided ending of the communication? What if it's mutual? And as I say that, like, I just have all these flashbacks of, stories I've heard from other people where their angels were with them and then their angels were no longer with them. Or they could communicate with aliens or other worlds and then they couldn't. The frequencies, when they match up, we believe we're in full control of everything in our experience. And we are, like, we are choosing how to live our human lives. And what if the other realms were like, oh my God, it's so hard trying to communicate with you. You're so dense. You're not getting it. You're not understanding. You're mistranslating. The scene I keep having in my mind as I'm saying this in the moment right now is in Arrival, when in the movie Arrival, all of these alien ships arrived, and I say alien ships, all these egg-shaped things arrived with beings inside of them. And then there were all these translators at each of the locations around the world trying to translate the symbols, the messages, the energy that these aliens were bringing. And the one that the movie is centered around, that was in the United States, she was saying, be careful on the specific words. When you use our limited English translation for something that has so many different variables, we could pick the wrong word. And if you remember, the word I believe that they had so much conflict over it was like tools, like resources, versus like weapons and war. And how one country was determined that the aliens were here to start war. The United States woman was like, I don't think that's actually right. It could mean any of these words. What if they're here to bring us resources, tools, and we're calling it a weapon? And then she had this interaction with the realms where she was able to communicate back and forth, and the frequency was flowing. The communication channel was wide open on both sides, and she could understand what they really meant was resources, gifts. We want to help you. We're here to support you. We're not here to kill you. So don't kill us, right? And so then there was all this magic that happened, and time dissolved, and all this stuff happened, and it was the most beautiful, beautiful ending. If you haven't seen Arrival, oh my God, go watch Arrival. Talk about magical realms, like, wow. But the energy it's both, right? It's us communicating and them communicating. And when I say them, it's any of these realms that I'm describing. It's magic like Harry Potter. It's animal realms, tree realm. It's anything, whatever the other frequencies are that you know how to communicate with. It's both directions. It's us listening and translating, and it's also the other side's being willing to listen and share and offer. And so it's a receptivity that goes both ways. And my God, all the words all the words in my head I'm trying to get out to you as quickly as I can before I forget the words. Like, this is how I live when energy is like, oh my God, okay, slow down and just get one thought out at a time. So for the fairies, let's go back to the fairies, for example, because it's such a real example right now in my life. I remember hearing like playful little voices playing with me, wanting to share with me, wanting me to create and do. And as I play in that imaginary world as a child and then articulate that, if I'm communicating with a realm that those around me aren't able to access, their fear or judgment of that unknown communication, just like I was describing the woman at the bar who talks to whoever she's with energetically. If she's having a communication that's clear to her, but the other people around her can't hear both sides, don't understand what's happening, then their fear and their judgment would have them say to her, you shouldn't be doing that because it's not something that we are included in or understand. These are very grown-up adult words. It's not usually how it's said. It's usually said not so nicely. And so if we can't understand and we're afraid of what you're hearing, you should no longer do that because it makes us uncomfortable. Right? Like, how screwed up. How screwed up is that? And also, like, that's human life. That's what we do. We don't understand something that we don't have access to or that we're not included in. And so we want to tell those who are doing those things we don't understand, stop doing that. Makes me uncomfortable. And then we all get jumbled up and feelings get hurt and realms get shut down. Like, all this stupid stuff happens. When I was thinking about receptivity as this like title for today and connecting it to the fairy realms, I was also feeling like, let me see if I can get all these trains of thought to one cohesive flow. When we are, oh my God, the thought just totally left. Isn't that so funny? How does that happen? It's like so clear and then suddenly it's so gone. Okay, we're going to stop that train and go to a different train apparently. I was looking at the bridge between my experience that I shared with fairy realms and an average human's experience as they start awakening or remembering or their consciousness starts to expand. So it looks different for everybody, but I believe we are in a time over the last 10 years and moving forward infinitely. I believe we are in a time where the realms are going to merge, or the barriers and veils between the realms are going to start dissolving more and more quickly and more powerfully. And I call that remembering. Lots of people call that the ascension or awakening or the shifting consciousness. There are so many different names that we have given to this time on our planet. What it feels like to me is we have our known communities, structures, ways of living as a human, ways of communicating as a human that are considered normal or acceptable or average, how we're supposed to act, the rules we're supposed to follow, the ways we're supposed to communicate and engage. Like, all these things are sort of understood. And then when an awakening starts to happen, when the soul starts to tingle through the body more and more loudly, and consciousness, universal, collective, like cosmic, big consciousness starts to tickle through our body and give us these moments of clarity, these moments of feeling the connection we have with everything and everyone and all beings and all energy. When that starts to happen, we can look like we're going crazy. We can look like we are doing things that aren't acceptable and saying things that are not acceptable. This has been my path for, my God, the last 8-10 years, probably last 10 years, maybe a little longer. It's been my path to feel something shifting inside of me and want to explore it and understand it and merge it, if it feels true, merge it into who I know I am. And as more and more parts and pieces and elements and realms merge within me, it looks like chaos or crazy. It looks like it's crazy. And that's what I was trying to share last week. When I channel energy, when I hear other stories from souls and then I share them, and then the reflections, the judgments come back, that my mental status is not certain. We start to doubt ourselves, and the people around us doubt us and share with each other, and then all this chaos sort of happens. So why am I bringing this up? I feel like receptivity, this word that we're focusing on today, is very much about a two-way process. Like, am I receptive to consciousness awakening, the universal energies coming into my human experience and sharing knowledge, wisdom, healing, enlightenment with me? Am I the human with my mind and my body in this dense frequency on earth? Am I receptive to that kind of an experience happening? And my willingness, my openness to being receptive directly engages with how fast, how much that consciousness, that shift is going to happen. It's like it's a dual energy. It's both. It's me being receptive and open, and that creates the willingness from consciousness to come in and be more present. Does that make sense? I can see it. I'm trying to translate it. It's like the steam in an engine that makes the engine move faster, and we're the engine, and the steam is the consciousness. And so if we're like, this really rough, slow-moving motor that doesn't want to turn over, then that steam or stream of consciousness is going to slow down, and it's not going to come in very quickly. And so our receptivity slows the whole thing down so that we can normalize it for ourselves or internalize it for ourselves. If we're like, bring it on, more, yes, absolutely, I want more, bring me more, share more, then the steam and the stream starts increasing, and the receptivity is like, right? And so we're having these like moments of magic constantly. And so I believe our awakening process is determined so much by our receptivity and how much enjoyment we have in the process, how much we love the expansion versus are afraid of it or resisting it or pushing it away. So all of that also connects to, in my opinion, manifestation. So specifically manifestation of money, manifestation of things, manifestation of experiences. When we are receptive, just like with consciousness, we're like, oh my gosh, another aha, another realm, another magic, another this, more, bring me more, more please. When we're like that, with the pace and the richness and the beauty of the experiences, more comes to us. And it's the same with money. When we're like, oh my gosh, that feels incredible, more of that, that was great, yes, more. It's like we're leaning back and just hugging it all towards us. It creates an energy with money, things, manifestation, experiences that like pulls more towards us. And then as we keep receiving, it brings more. It's like a vacuum, but not in a bad way. It's like they say, it's like a vacuum of energy, and it sounds like it's this deep, dark hole of scariness. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like a vacuum of like, that's not the right word. Let's use magnet. It's like a magnet of calling more and more and more into our experiences. Well, sometimes, even with amazing receptivity, sometimes it's like we just sort of have to stabilize ourselves in the process that we're in. Like with the fairies, right? So I have this huge shift of awareness, of remembering last week, and my whole system is like, what, what, how, what, let me sit with this. And you hear the words, right? Let me sit with this. Let me be in this moment of this process fully and embody it, internalize it, integrate it. So I don't, universe, I don't want anything more in this moment, because I want to get all of the nuggets of magic from this one right now. And so, right, so our receptivity that may have been like more is like, whoa, slow it down. We can be the speedometer of our own awakening, of our own manifestation. And we are. The hiccup, or the places where we get caught up or perhaps out of alignment, is when we forget that we're the ones that are then like, whoa, no, stop. We're like, why did the universe stop sending me more? And then we get in this twirl of like, why is the universe persecuting me? why is there nothing anymore? And we forget we're the creator of our reality. I'm saying this to myself right now as much as to you. We are the creator of our reality. And so if there's a pause in some sort of receptivity, it's because we created that pause. There is something in our system that needs to stabilize, steady, integrate, still work on releasing perhaps some doubt or some fear. The receptivity hasn't gone anywhere. It's just sort of like put a little pause in there. And then when we have that awareness, or that remembering that we created the pause, then we can start going, oh, okay, good, yes. All right, am I stable? Am I steady? Am I ready for more? That's the question. Am I ready for more? Only you know. Only you know. And so I'm saying this to me and to you. Let's not judge the process that we are creating. Let's realize we created this pause because we needed it. And so am I ready for more? I believe so. I think so. Maybe. And clearly not 100% yet, because I wasn't like, yeah. So receptivity is this interesting co-creation. We are definitely the drivers of it. And I don't even want to use that word. We are the pace setters of the receptivity. And it's a back and forth that is happening all the time. I think I've shared this story, but maybe it's worth repeating, especially for givers. You know, lots of us are, I believe, are space holders, are ones who will give energy. Healers are so good at this. We're like, take the energy, take the love, take all my stuff that's going to help you be stronger, better, whatever, happier. And then we're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. And I just gave all this stuff and nothing came back and I'm not filled up. We have this dance that we do in our work often. I feel like I'm getting better at not doing that. And also there are times we're just, pouring it out and we're forgetting to bring it back in. And I remember when Guru Ganesha was here with his band several years ago for his birthday. Probably 5 or 6 years ago for his birthday. And he was touring across the country, and then he was ending here, and it was on his birthday or right before his birthday. And so we were talking, and he said he ended up doing a concert for free, and the money was all for a benefit. And so I said, how do you feel about your birthday and giving and so much giving? And he said, what I've learned about my birthday is it's great to give, right? He said, so I'll do this concert, we'll give. He said, but I also welcome the energy back. He said, it's like it sends out and it comes back. And he said, I've learned to not forget about the bringing it back, which is how I would define receptivity, right? I can give. And am I willing to receive? And to me, receiving, this is something I've really understood more over this past summer. Receiving is a leaning back for me. I'm very used to effort and action and sending out and giving and like all the energy going this way. And receptivity is I can sit here in this moment knowing I have seeded all of these beautiful wishes, desires, intentions, creations. I've sent all this energy out, and I can sit here and allow it to just flow back into my awareness, into my physical experience. And as I feel filled up, I'll have more energy to send back out. And so it's this dance, right? It's this beautiful dance. It's like it goes out, it comes back, it goes out, it comes back. But we sometimes get looped in one or the other, and we forget the movement, the flow in all of it. And I think the fairies were wanting to remind me of that. They're like, it's not all just you. It's you and the realms in which you are creating with, right? We're all, consciousness is moving through all of that. So I'll bring it back to the fairies again. The remembering I had last week of, oh, there's this way that I can hear what they are saying to me. And so I'm open to hearing more. Well, I haven't been hearing much over the last week. All these other beautiful things have been happening, but it's not like I've been hearing fairies speak into my ear, and that's what I thought would happen. I would say it, have the aha, and then it like, oh, fairies would start talking. No, because it's still both and. It's me being able to listen, but it's also them being willing to speak. It's both of them. And I feel like the steadier I am, the more I'm leaning back and allowing this energy to be received into me, the more that strengthens that realm that wants to then communicate with me. Because now they're realizing, like, we're not going to get blamed. When we share truth, we won't get blamed that, she's getting in trouble because of us. It's, I hope these words are coming through in a way that resonates with you. It's still, I feel like I'll spend my life learning about receptivity. I'm going to be playing with realms dissolving and merging, just like all of us are, for the rest of my human experience, because I believe that's what's shifting on our planet. All the separate little pockets of energy and people and cultures and humanity and non-humanity, and like everything is starting to come into oneness, into wholeness, into unity. And we're experiencing that, all of us, in our own ways. And so I share about fairies and I share about manifesting and consciousness. But for other people, maybe it's happening through food or diet or exercise or water. We don't even know what the tools or weapons or resources are, like from the arrival. We don't know which ways it's merging for other people. But as I share how it's happening for me, you have this way to go, okay, what does this merging of realms look and feel like in my life? How open am I to receiving, and what is my flow with giving and receiving of receptivity? How is that playing for me based on what I hear Viv sharing? Like, what does it bring up? And as all of these voices and conversations and energies are being shared and then heard and then talked about and then brought back in, and we're continuing to merge, we're continuing to unite as one energy field. Going back to the record keeping again from a few episodes back. We're all creating all of this content with all of our voices because it's a way to bring truth through and have it recorded, and then that is strengthening this human, earthly version of the Akashic records and helping us come into greater integrity and alignment within ourselves. And the more I'm in alignment with my truth, and I'm in alignment with the energy between fairy realms and myself, and angel realms and myself, and the trees and myself, the more I'm coming into integrity and alignment with all of those different realms of energy, those different frequencies, whatever the words are you use, all of those different vibrations, as I harmonize all of those different vibrations within myself, I am in harmony with me, with one, with all. And the more that I come into my own harmony and then emit that frequency out that is more harmonious, that signal goes to more and more people. And then it brings more of us into more alignment and greater harmony. It's magic. It's like ripples of energy that are being attuned to a higher and purer frequency all the time. And every time we strengthen and purify a frequency within ourselves, and it goes to others and it comes back, it's even more pure at a collective level. Isn't that amazing? It's so amazing. But to put words to it, to try to have words that say all of that is limited and frustrating. And sometimes we get the words wrong. And then we have all this strife that happens because we said the wrong word, but we really were just trying to name a thing that can't even have a word yet. It's a frequency. So that feels like where I'm at right now. I am also, how would I share this? So there's this great way that Melanie Ann Lair, who I've talked about a lot in this space, she shares what she is creating and offering in a video that she calls Shop With Me. And I think it's brilliant because she's like, I'm going to talk about all my products, and then you can come to this one call and you can shop with me and see all the different things that I do. And I love that. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, okay, if I'm talking about receptivity and energy going out and energy coming back, like that is what I do in my work. How do I make a bridge between the ways I'm living it in my life and then the ways that it's infusing into my work? I was like, shop with me doesn't feel right. So instead, what I'm going to do here for a few minutes at the end of receptivity is share with you some of the ways that I am currently playing with sending energy out and seeding the potential shifts for people in their awakening and their manifestation. And then allow you to see, like, do you have a match? Is there a part of you that hears this and is like, oh, I want to play like that. I want to be engaged in that like back and forth of energy. So Viv is sending this out and I want to be part of what's coming back so we can play together. So I'm going to share that for a few minutes now. And if you have any resonance or interest in it, you can stay. And if not, it's totally okay. We'll be complete with the podcast for a few minutes. So the first one is Viv's Energy Gym. It's getting a massive up level, huge up level in the most fun and exciting ways. I have a page about it. It's I'll put the link in the description. But if you just go to my website and it's under Our Return Home, and then we are all, oh my God, I should know this. It's under Our Return Home. At the top tab, there's something that'll say Viv's Energy Gym if you poke around. But what I've decided to do is, instead of just having the base class, which will still continue every week, we meet on Friday mornings and we deepen our connections to ourselves and to others. So for people who are new to community and new to energy work and just trying to figure out, like, what is this awakening thing? Do I even know how awakenings happen? And am I going crazy? Am I talking to myself too much? That class is probably a perfect place to begin. And it's just beautiful. We meet every week and we share our journeys and we talk just like I'm talking here. And you make new friends in the most incredible ways. So that one is on Friday. On Thursday, I am opening up my men's gym again. We used to have it on Fridays and I've moved it to Thursdays at noon Eastern. I'm calling it activating the men's grid, and it's very much like calling energetically the men who are ready to really step into being like the divine masculine leaders and energy space holders on our planet, and also can't see a way to do that or don't trust themselves, or as I said in the intro video, like feel like such a hot mess. How could they even call themselves divine masculine? I believe we all have that potential, though, inside of ourselves. And part of one of my gifts is to weave a community energy space for men that feels so good that they build those connections and that grid, that network around the world with other men. So that's going to be on Thursdays. And then on Wednesdays, once a month, I'm going to have a Building Our Empires class. And we will be playing with how, in energy space, how do we strengthen the gifts that we're here to share with the world? How do we strengthen the ways that we share those gifts? How do we build a mastermind network of other like-minded business leaders who want to create in this high integrity, unique, soulful way a really successful business? So I'm building my empire, and I'm calling towards me those who are ready to build their empires side by side. So we'll be doing some energy reading, but it's much more about like sharing your genius and witnessing the genius of others. So that's on one Wednesday a month. It also includes quietly listening bonus. You can learn all about that. And then twice a month on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern, I am going to host a call, a gym space that I am calling Receiving More. I almost called the title of today's podcast that, but I'm like, no, it needs to be separate. Receiving More is all about manifesting. So twice a month, we show up on Zoom, no more than 14 in a class, and then we'll add another class. And we state our desires. We talk about what's in the way of that. I do laser coaching to read energy and show you what is in the way of that. And then you're held accountable. So when you come back 2 weeks later, what have you done? Like, what are you doing to move towards that? Or for some of us, it's how are you opening energetically, becoming more receptive, leaning back and trusting, slowing down on the action and instead magnetizing it towards yourself. So those are my four gym classes. Can't wait. I'm so excited. We're starting next week. It's scheduled to start in September, and I decided to have the Monday and the Wednesday call as a bonus next week to kick it off. So you can go to the webpage, learn all about it, see if something feels like it's resonating with you, and then jump into that space. And then if you're ready to go way deeper into your awakening or your remembering, I have a small group that is going to start September the 8th. It's on a Thursday after Labor Day weekend. It is called Infinite Embodiment Pathways, Class 04. I have a video that I posted. Did I post that yet? I think I did on YouTube. And it talks about it. You can also go to the webpage. I'll put the link for that below. IEP04 is really big transformation. Realms merging and uniting. And also like this beautiful way to get to know some other amazing humans in a container that I hold for 11 weeks. So we meet every Thursday in the afternoon by Zoom, and we share what we are working on in the content for that week. So there's like a very structured way of moving through the 11 weeks together, and each week has a theme. Like we talk about our relationship to our body, our relationship to ourselves, how the masculine and the feminine energies weave within ourselves, what our patterns are, and the ones that we're ready to start clearing, our relationship to the earth, the consciousness of Gaia, our relationship to source. I mean, we cover a lot of ground in 11 weeks. And it's also like, if you feel like you're going crazy when you're having an awakening, this is the stabilizer, the steady, grounded foundation that can anchor in the process of awakening. It's like, And you're doing it in community. So you're not crazy because you're showing up and you're sharing it. And we're going, yeah, me too. Did that, feel that. Did you read this? Did you watch that? Yeah, let's keep going. And so this amazing flow carries you through a profound shift in consciousness in your human journey. It is life-changing and amazing and really a lot of fun. As much as it doesn't sound like fun, it's so much fun. And also, you're with me every week for 11 weeks. So that starts September 8th. There will only be room for 6 in the class, and I will put the link for that if you want to watch and learn more. Yeah. And then I have my new moons coming up if you want to join in that fun. The new moon meditation I'm going to make after the tarot card reading today. And so you'll be able to feel what's happening with Virgo, with this energy of the weekend. And yeah. Is that right? I think it's new moon in Virgo. I need to look. That is right, isn't it? I believe so. I think so. I think I just looked it up. I know we're in Virgo. I always get mixed up if it's the new moon or the full moon that's with the actual astrological sign. And then I'll know, but then I'll like doubt myself and I'll question if I have the right one. And then in my mind, I flip it. Do you do that? That's why I'm not an astrologer. That's why I'm an energy reader. All right. I trust all of that resonated and that you are feeling the magic of just being a human at this time on our planet. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. And there's just magic all around. We just have to keep attuning to it and trusting it and remembering it. So I'm right here sending you big, big love. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in Awakening the Guides, an 8-week online self-guided journey of remembering why you chose to come play here in Gaia. You can learn more at viviennegerard.com under I Am Creativity. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.